to the scene. It's your host TTP. We're flying high in the crypto sky, you and me. From Bitcoin rush to Ethereum, we traded all the coins. Hit the trading parody, making that joyful noise. We got bots, we got plots, charts on the big screen. 3 comments to Wick, Hunter with a trading machine. Laughing all the way to the bank, it's a fun parade. With every trade we made, watch how we get paid. TTP's got the formula, flipping coins like a spatula. In the crypto game with the vernacular, spectacular. From the morning to the night, we're streaming with the light, trying to trading parallel. We'll teach you how to fight. Dive into the charts, the RSI, liquidity at a glance, trends on the rise. We never leave it up to chance. All trading tools of the champion breed. With AI and math, we're planting the money seed. Laugh with us, trade with us, ain't no looking back. You're with the parrot now, leading the pack. Alpha profits, snap plus with the crypto law. TTP's on the mic and he's ready to soar. TTP's on the mic and he's ready to soar. TTP's got the formula, flipping coins like a spatula. In the crypto game with a vernacular, spectacular. From the morning to the night, we're streaming with the light. Join the trading parallel. We'll teach you how to fight. Dive into the charts.
Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. Today we have the inflation report coming in 15 minutes. There are expectations of reducing the inflation rates. We're going to look into trueflation. We're going to look into TA in these 15 minutes before we get the reading. We're going to look into all the charts, of course, look at the order book, look at the liquidation levels. Look at the inverse head and shoulders on the 4-hour pattern that is forming as we speak. And let's see if we are going to see further upside or if there's going to be a rejection. Hopefully we get some volatility, some fun. So let's get started. If you are new to the channel, subscribe, hit the like, write down a comment. The louder you are in the comments, the better. We are going to start with obviously Bitcoin, but at the end of the stream, if there's people and requests for altcoins, I'm happy to do some altcoins as well, take some requests. Remember that yesterday I published already a video with altcoins, so have a look at that because most of them are already covered. So if you find one that is not there, I'm happy to do it today as well. Let's look at what are the forecasts at the moment, and very quickly through those numbers. We got a prior of 0.4 on the core inflation rate, and the expectation is 0.3. Obviously, there's an expectation of slightly reducing. Slightly reducing is going into the right direction. People expect the inflation to start coming down. That kind of helps with this idea of reducing the cuts. Of course, everybody wants to see some cut rates coming in sooner, bigger cut rates and stuff like that. But there is a caveat, okay? One potential issue that many people, I'm not seeing them commenting this on Twitter that much as I would like to, is if the inflation rate comes too low, then there are risks of deflation, okay? We need to go at the right pace, you know, reducing the inflation slowly, and then the rate cuts also slowly. Markets don't like things to occur too fast, and that can spark fears of the opposites, and that is something that we need to keep an eye for. So today, most of the people are saying, okay, let's get the inflation rate lower no matter what, and no matter how low, it's fine. That's not truth. The right expectation that we should be having is to reduce them slowly. And let's look at trueflation. We got a reading of 135 in here. I forgot the actual main inflation rates. That is also reducing in the forecast. So that is kind of the expectation across the board. And I'm going to very quickly skip into the charts because I only have a handful of minutes to cover how we are facing this event. So let's start with the 4-hour. You can see in here, that is the head and shoulders. Last night, I call it a cup and handle, and the handle was on the left hand side. I also mentioned that at 83,500, 84 there was resistance that we should be expecting. Best case scenario, another push down like this one. It's kind of in the similar proportions, we could say. So that is, looking good. I'm just checking if there are any issues with the audio. I don't hear anybody. I don't see anybody complaining about anything. So I'm going to just carry on. So we are right below that neck. I placed the neck at the highest close with the Trump pump that is around 83,500. If you're conservative, you can still put the neck at 84K, just because there's been some weeks that we still reach there. There's some rejection, but it's depending on your flavor. Consider $500 neckline if you want as well. I also took the high of the pattern and I place it in the breakout area, and is pointing towards 90.5. So that will be the full length of this. And of course, I'm talking just about the bullish scenario in here, just because this is new, but that doesn't mean that I'm counting 100% that we go all the way to here. We have a few levels in between. We have the 84.4. There's liquidity there. We have the 87 where there is slightly larger liquidity. And then we have the 91 that is, of course, way larger. And let's see how we are doing with the RSI. There is a rolling over at the moment with a double top at 50. We need to get over that. If we do the breakout with a 4-hour close, we break the neckline of the inverse head and shoulders, I'm expecting, of course, the RSI to also follow up with a new high. And then we can get much confidence about the continuation. And some people might think that this is a breakdown, but I think it's too early. It could be, there is rolling over, there is double top, but you might come back later. And if you have continuation in here, this could do something like this. And that could be thanks to this becoming the actual pivot, and this not being enough of a pivot. Is too small to be taken too serious. It could be, but let's say that I'm going to stick with where we are to potentially becoming the pivot as long as we break out from the neckline. On the daily, thanks to many people commenting on Telegram, appreciate all the feedback. It always helps me to see new things. Yesterday, I was just focusing on the 84.2, which is resistance. That's the level that we are battling. But people made me aware, hey, look at the 200 daily MA, and we are also battling with that. So there is a confluence there of heavy resistance. Last time it was heavy support. Now it's heavy resistance. And if people like the report, there is a chance that we carry on into the 88. So that there is an option for that. But if we see rejection in here, expect to go to the liquidity below the price. So the last swing low was 76.7, and we have heavy liquidity right there. So I have my second order in mind at the moment, not with a specific price, because I need to see really how heavy is the reaction. If it's too heavy, I might move it down to 69. If I think that we get to 73.5 and I like how things are looking, when I do the surgery, if I like it, I might place it at 73.5 and so on. So we got a higher low on the daily, and our resistance is RSI 50. Keep that in mind. MACD needs to put a bullish cross, but we won't get that unless we don't get a breakout. We are holding support on the weekly, speeding up in here. We are below support on the weekly RSI. Potentially, we get a stochastic bullish cross. Yearly is in the red, but we are in a topping year. We are facing the CPR pivots. Those are from 86,400 to 9,600. So if today we do that rally, we get the first take profit, the conservative 84.4, which is right above it. There is some liquidity. I'm going to show you just in a second. We have 7 minutes. Then we have the 88, that is the resistance from daily, and then we have the 9,600, which is the full target of the inverse head and shoulders. All of that could just be a rejection again from the same pivots in the same month. So it's not crazy. I'm not talking about going into the first resistance, which is 98.7. For that, we need to really, really reverse the trend on the daily. Uh, on our favor, we have the CME gap from 84.2 to 86.900. That is great, but that's pricing CME. On Binance, that is 94.200, where we start getting bullish, and then we need to now decide whether we are going to take profits halfway the CME gap, or we're going to wait for the top of the CME gap, or we're going to wait for the full target of the inverse head and shoulders. On the monthly, it looks ugly at the moment. That's absolutely truth. Let's continue. We are at monthly support on the RSI, and I'm going to skip this one. There's been some outflows from large holders. That means that they most likely they've been buying the dip at 76, and that is 14.68K. So that's a good number, but there's been outflows in the past 4 days on the Bitcoin ETFs. We are back into fear, out of extreme fear. We reach a bottom of 10, and now we are at 34. So that's pretty cool. And here's the liquidity. So first target 84.2, there is liquidity there. So if you are now in panic mode and you're convinced that this is just dead cat bounce and that ends in here with this event, you get your 84.200. That is very close to the price. Not guaranteed that we get there, but it's a lot easier than talking about 87 or 90.5 as the third target. Going into longer term liquidity, let's see if there's anything I needed to say in here. Well, longer term liquidity starts from 100K, so we can even talk about it today. But in the shorter term, on the weekly, we get the 84,300 overlapping with everything that I said before, and the 87,700 that is formed from the day we started the weekend, and we started going sideways. We got 5 minutes to go. Another liquidation in the very short distance, 84K, that is from the past 30 days. After that, there is smaller ones, but the same platform shows me the opposite if we look into 1 week. So 1 week still shows it as larger. And on the monthly, I don't know how is that possible, but on the 30 days, it shows 84. There's been tons of short liquidations in the past day, and we are running low liquidation levels to the top end, 200K. Let's see how we are in the order book. It's very shallow. There's just minus 0.003, so there's no bias on the bid versus the ask. That means that we cannot take anything bullish or bearish just from reading that. Longs have come back slightly from 63 to 66. No funding rates in negative, and we are out of the extreme fears. And this ladder in here was quite interesting to me, that we were seeing shorting prices like a resistance that followed the price all the way down, and then it followed the price all the way up. And I ask you guys what you think of that. And they don't do that very often, that in such a dynamic way with the price. Usually they just leave the order there. So I wonder why they are trying to say. It could be psychological manipulation, or it could be that they really think that there's going to be today some sort of move up, and then they want to short that with 91 million, which is quite large actually. Let's look at the order book very quickly before we get any reading. And if you missed the update this morning, there is a new level at 72,500 that currently has 1K. And these two levels of 1.1K, they went away as soon as the price bounced from 76. Let's see if they place it above the price. Nope. They just had one in here that started from that candle in here, and it's how much it is, 800. So it's not even 1K. It's located at 66. I read it this morning, 66,666, but actually it's not. It's around that area. So we have the inverse head and shoulders. Let me know in the chat if we get any reading Mariano gets sudden degen setup. Is 2.9 expected? So the expected at the moment is 3.2 for the core inflation year on year, and the inflation rate 2.9. And I don't know if this is using the same metric, but this says 132. And in my opinion, I mean, if this is coinciding with the inflation rate in here, the year on year, that is too little. So that's kind of entering in deflationary environment. You know, I'm not an expert, into macroeconomy. I do my best. You tell me in the comments, but isn't that high? When are we expecting the news? It should be just in 1 minute. This should refresh in a few seconds after they get started. And then we can see if things start moving. By the way, guys, if you just joined, we're going to focus on the price action, the volatility, if we see some volatility. And if we do, we just do some TA on what's going on with the immediate reaction to the readings. We get 0.2. So it's lower than expected. We got 0.2 versus 0.3, 3.1 versus 3.2, 0.2 versus 0.3, 2.8 versus 2.9. So it's just 1 point less than the forecast. And I think, let me remove this sound. It's annoying me. I'm sure that you can also hear it. So it's lower than expected, but it's not as crazy as I was seeing on Truflation. In Truflation, it was showing 1.32. And I guess they have a different formula and they exclude different items or add other items to the thing, but definitely not that we're going to get a 1 point something in here. If we get 1 point something in here, the market should be crashing. Let's see how the market is reacting to this. Okay, so we are seeing the price at the moment above the line. Remember, candle close on the 4 hour is what matters, okay? We don't really care if the price moves up. So many times I've been in a live stream and we go up just to go back down, like you are seeing in here. We're seeing just volatility. So keep that in mind. We're getting to 84. That is great. And let's look at this in the scalping chart. Sorry, the scalping chart is in here. So we took the first target. So you're welcome. If you enter at 77.5, you just, let's see how much profits you could have taken. That's a 9%. And that's the first target. And if we get to the second target, you make 12%. And if we get to 90 something, that's a 16%. So I write these things with a 2x. So the highest potential is at 32%. And if I get there, I pay all the bills, I pay everything for the month in just a couple of days. So that's great. If we get there, I don't know if we're going to get there. We could see a rejection after this. That's another scenario I forgot to mention. Since this is the first target, there is always the risk that that is all they wanted to take. Why? Because that's the perfect recipe for a liquidity hunt, right? You hit the immediate shorts, you trap the longs, so you take cash from the shorts, and then you trap the longs, and then you put a new lower low. That's it. Can we do that? Yeah, sure, absolutely. And indeed, if we do that, I add to my long at lower prices. That's the plan. Where is the liquidity below? So we have 75.3 and we have 74 to 73 to 60. Around that area is where we could say that we finally have a movement that meets with the previous flag. And the previous flag is this one in here, the megaphone pattern. The high is 73,500. So if today we saw a rejection and we get there, 73.5 will be the first point of contact, but you can always argue that you can get up to 71,500 and still be considered a handshake with the previous flag for a potential bounce back up. Some people, many people indeed, are thinking that the previous all-time high is another great alternative. I'm included on that. If we go beyond that, that's where things get just too much in the gray area of can we really get us out of there or not? Still chances, but a lot more difficult. So we will have to see. I'm up in my trades. Let's go. Stinky is saying, I also never sell in loss. If necessary, I will wait 10 years. Wow, we are pumping. Spot is the best. News is out. We are pumping. Yeah, that's all great news, but we haven't broken out yet. We are beyond my first neckline, but not against the second one. That's why the second one is the most conservative one, and we still have 3 hours 25 minutes to confirm, and there's no way I'm going to be 3 hours 25 minutes in the live stream to cover what's the closing candle, but definitely in the evening update I'll cover whatever happened and give you my take. We took already the first fair value gap. The second one ends at 86, so we'll see. Right, guys, do you have any request for TA? I'm seeing the first one from bottom to top, and I got XRP. Let's cover XRP in the meantime. Why not? Why not? Right. Actually, well, later I'm gonna give you also my take on the Bitcoin dominance. Remember me to do that. It is important. Where is the alts chart? Here. Right. Let's do XRP. XRP. Cool. Okay. So XRP, I don't like the pattern on the weekly. So it looks too much like a head and shoulders. If it's at the form head and shoulders, I'm sure that this is not a head and shoulders. It's too high for the right shoulder, but it's a bearish pattern, guys. Okay. It's got a lower high on the right hand side and a lower low. So that's all this leg in here is already a very structure on the weekly. The only thing that is saving us is that neck of $2, the psychological level that gets bought up every single time. So this candle, this weekly candle bouncing up is going to have to face now the highs of 238. That 238 was extremely strong to give us the next high. Yeah, it got bought up from 178 all the way to 280. That's crazy. One full dollar of buying pressure. So now if we face it at 239, it could be strong resistance. And given that we just finished a candle of 29% down, which is huge, it's the largest I can see in a long time. This might be a little bit larger. 48, yeah, this is definitely larger. This is a 55. Gosh, XRP idiots. Who wants to be long on XRP here? With those sizes of candles, it's just crazy. Anyways, we are holding the $2. Okay, so this could turn into the beginning of something, but we need to get beyond the 238. If you enter along at these levels of support and you are approaching the 238, I wouldn't sleep. I literally wouldn't sleep. I will sleep all night with my finger in the sell button in case we don't cross that, and then we get ugly rejection and just crossing the neckline. A weekly close below $2. It's at the moment pointing at 77 cents. That's a bear market target. Hopefully, we don't need to go there, but that's bear market target, definitely. And the RSI broke down already. So the RSI is on the XRP is already saying like we already lost the $2. So you got that 50-50 prices holding it, pushing up, but RSI doesn't like it. And I suspect that the price can get to 238 and still this just be a revenge rally against that and then further downside. So watch out for that because it already happened to BNB, okay? And we call it on BNB. We show you, I show you that BNB broke down in here, that we were going to have a rally revenge into the lost support. And I called that when we were at $700. And since then, we went to $500. So watch out for that. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I'm not holding XRP. I already sold at 2427. Now I forgot since yesterday. I cannot remember. Any other altcoins? Okay, Near I did yesterday. Sui I did yesterday. Dot I did yesterday. I'm gonna do PEPE and Wifi. All I suspect they are in a bloodbath at the moment. So if we run out of coins, I'm gonna cover the ones I did yesterday. But if there are new ones, I'm gonna cover those ones because I want to cover everything. Wifi, wow, that is really ugly. So we have a double top on the price action. This one was from 2024. This was lower than the one before. And look at the last time I did TA. I was talking about holding to 9. And since then, we have gone to 0.4. Wow. And it didn't have not even the strength to build the right-hand shoulder. It just did a micro mini shoulder and it just puked down. It lost straight away 1-3. It didn't hold 1-1. Nothing held. It's just a disaster. Let's extend this line though. There seems to be some point of contact there. For the next bleeding, ideally, we don't have to go to $1. Let me remove this target in here because now we cannot just do this. This is ridiculous. I'm gonna see if I can do. No, I cannot do that. I need to do it from here. No, it's ridiculous. This move is absolutely impossible. Some people are gonna say that this is bullish, right? Some people are gonna say if we get that breakout from there, I don't know how I can make it something like that. It's like a falling wedge, and to trade that, I will of course use the RSI to see. Ugh, really annoying. No, you cannot do it really here because this is actually calling for a breakout at the moment, but it's got only one point of contact. So let's say we go to the daily, and on the daily we do this, then we have some sort of breakout on Wifi. So the price haven't done anything. The price hasn't done anything here, right? So we got a double top at 0.75, and let's put that resistance there, and let's put also some support right there. And yeah, okay, fair enough. RSI on the daily is with momentum to the upside. It has already started to build a channel on Wifi like this. It has broken out on the daily, not on the weekly. The weekly, we cannot use it. Shorts are all over the place. There's too many shorts, and there is a potential here for squashing them big. If this continues in this direction, if this doesn't lose support after doing like this and then like that, like Ethereum is doing all these months, if WIF behaves like a proper coin, and then you can get a squeeze of shorts coming in. And how high can that get? It's going to be tough because I cannot really do my usual Fibonacci extensions in here. So let's say we go to the top of the channel in here. Let's say we go to 60 and we get a really, really decent rally. So that will send the price to around, with a 70% upside, to 0.8. Okay, so That is not bad. And it's just breaking the previous resistance. So that could give a move to here. So let's do it properly. Let's put an order long like this and ignore my stop loss. Okay, let's just remove it because people are gonna put the stop loss there. I don't want to give stop losses. And like this. So from where we are, that is at 70%. It's slightly beyond that. So I suspect that there are liquidation levels at 81 cents. And you could build a position into that. But watch out, because the risk of this, you have to do it on spot and you have to wait a lot, because do you see how aggressive this moves? And this could connect again with the line and go to 0.1 or even beyond, in which case you build that position and eventually you target those shorts. Right. This was WIF, and the next one is PEPE. Very similar. So definitely meme coins, the super cycle. That's so funny. The meme coins are doing terrible. Not that they're not gonna do great at some point. If things recover, meme coins are gonna make people millionaire. If things don't recover, they're also gonna make people poor. We are at the support of 537. We have resistance at 700. I'm gonna call the prices like that. I'm not gonna say all those zeros with my accent because that almost hurts. And next resistance is 923, and then 1710. That is if things get bullish. You can see that we have some sort of breakout on the weekly, but a painful one. And the setup is kind of going in here to 56. So 56 on the weekly can get us to 1214. And let's put another order to the target and no stop loss. So right where we are, that's an 82% that I'm going to leave in the chart. And I'm going to do TA of the next ones. Is there anything I'm missing? Okay, we reset the longs, so that's great. Longs went to 39 and we went to 28. This could continue dragging a little bit lower, killing some longs, I guess, but we are now at support, so that's a value area. Okay, which one should we do next? Let's do ONDO. I think I didn't do that yesterday. Okay, that's good news. So ONDO went to my next target of 72 by the dollar. It just touched it perfectly. It bounced off my support and it went back to the next resistance. Right now we are against resistance that is 89. And you can see that before we tried to break that, we got rejected. So rejection from here, the recipe tells you that you can easily go to 59.60. That's what ONDO does when it gets rejected from here. Sometimes it gets rejected from where we are and it just goes to 73. So we already did that. So I suspect that if we see another rejection, we could go lower potentially. If things today carry on bullish, we have upside up until 112. And let's see the other side on the weekly. Ugh, really ugly to do anything here. I'm gonna do it like this. Let's connect these points. So on weekly, we have now a longer extension. We have a potential second pivot at 45. And if we break beyond that, we could have a rally. Let's see if I can spot some resistance. I will use that as a resistance. So if we break this week beyond 45 on the weekly RSI, we could get to 52. That's not a lot of upside, but it could be the first initial upside just to get us started. That, well, coincides more or less with what I say in levels of support and resistance. So we are here and we can get to 29% to the upside of upside on ONDO as an initial thing. And that meets with this order block at around $1.2. The next resistance is 138, 163, and then $2, which was the highest price. And CRV, I've heard that multiple times, people asking for it. CRV, USDT. Let me see in the meantime how is price action doing. Okay, the battle continues now, still with the first neck, the white one, at 83,600. We have put a high of 84,500. So far, only my first target is gone. The second, the third, not there yet. And we already have all the readings from the CPI. So I'm not sure if Powell is going to speak or someone there is going to speak and things are going to carry on and maybe something bearish comes out. It's too boring to listen to that. So I'm not going to cover that. I'm just going to stick to my thing and go with CRV. Sorry, I didn't want to offend CRV. Let's see. We are again against resistance. Resistance is 0.43. It seems that every coin is against resistance. Just this move of Bitcoin up, which is also against resistance, everybody is mimicking it. And resistance is 41 cents. And if we reclaim that, that will be great because it will be just one candle below and then back up. Obviously, it's better just a week, but 1 week below, 1 week above is still a liquidity hunt, in my opinion. If we see that resistance to remain, we have the 23. And if you want a level in the middle, which was already tested, we could put it right there. And that, yeah, looks correct. It was resistance all this way. Look at what CRV did once it managed to break that level. So if we saw rejection in here and we did something like this, it can perfectly do something big again. It could also do it from here, but we need to reclaim 41. Then we have the next one, 50 cents. Perfect. That's psychological. This one in here is 70. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. So that is relevant too. I'm going to move this level slightly lower to match the closing prices a bit better. Those ones there. So it's 82. And let's play with that. Okay, so this is rolling up. You can tell in here that potentially the weekly is showing some strength from the median. That's 42 RSI that previously was resistance. So let's flip 42 into support in the momentum and let's have a rally towards the top. And let's look at the daily CRV. If we put this on the daily, today we are having a breakout. We need to close CRV beyond 41. If we do that and Bitcoin behaves, we can start going to 50 to 72 and all those levels. Of course, one by one. And in terms of longs and shorts, on the daily, we are halfway through. That's not too bad. I mean, it will be worse if we are at the top. And on the weekly, there's been quite a decent reset of longs. We're closer to 20 at 33 than we are to 66. So that there is an upside there for CRV. It doesn't look that bad. Cardano, I cover it. And OM, I haven't covered that yesterday. Guys, if you want to watch, check my video from yesterday with the alts. I pretty much cover all the ones that I'm skipping in the stream. All right, so ADA is doing what I wanted yesterday. I covered this yesterday, but it's good to review it again and see if this is going to reclaim. If this week we close pointing inside above the yellow line on the RSI weekly, that's around 50. So let's say we close 51, 52, then I don't mind this piercing, okay? Because we just move this slightly like that. We put it like an average, and then we are all happy. We kind of we can overlook that. This was a breakout, and this could be just a retest. Fair enough. If we start closing below the yellow line, then we say is a fake out. We had a breakdown. Um, and I think that's because people are so bullish now on ADA. It's an American coin company and whatever. And next area of resistance is 82, 98, and 12. And targets from RSI, I cannot really give you. Longs versus shorts, we're halfway through. It looks healthy on the weekly. And on the daily, let's see. Something I haven't done in a while, and I'm curious now on ADA. Where are the liquidations on ADA in the longer term? Okay, so first target of liquidations is to take 1.2. You can go up until 135 for a squeeze if you really want. First conservative target, and probably it's gonna be a pullback around there, is $1. So ADA, if it really recovers and it also plays out with this cup and handle thingy, then it gets into 86. It finds that resistance, and then it can carry on into $1. All of this assuming that we are in the middle of a recovery with Bitcoin, which is not necessarily the case, right? It's a big assumption for all these bullish targets I'm giving you. I'm not giving you targets of, go and take a long and be crazy. Just this is TA, not financial advice. That's the target of TA, and not necessarily what the macroeconomy is going to do. There's no way I know what the macroeconomy is going to do. Doge and ETH all covered yesterday. Spine the like instead. Dot yesterday. XLM I didn't do yesterday, and GALA I didn't do yesterday. Neither algo. So good one, Jose. Let's do XLM, USDT, Stellar. And let's start with the weekly. All right, so we are meeting support with the median. I suspect that there is something in here that we can use. Let's place it like this. People are probably looking at that and this. Well, on the other side, it also looks like this sort of pattern. We have reset longs to the middle, longs versus shorts. We have a bullish pattern. Watch out with these bullish patterns on crypto, because if general markets go down, we saw what happened with this pattern on Ethereum, and I think on DOT as well, and AVAX. There's a bunch of them that in a bullish flag, they literally went all the way down and broke completely. There's no way of placing any more a bull flag there, which could be the case for these coins. I'm just making you aware, so you don't just chew hopium all the time, because this could still break down. Okay, it's a bullish pattern. If we see a breakout, we've seen also breakouts on TRX and some of them that broke out the bullish pattern and then roll over, and it went to form some sort of double bottom. So this one is a decent puke. There are some other pukes that are disgusting. Just come back from the bottom and no way of rescuing from that. But I think Tron has some hope. Stellar. Okay, so this one has that support there. If there is an ugly move, there is that support there. Let's match it better. Let's match it with those two, and halfway through that. So that is 17. And we need the RSI weekly to break out from here first. If the RSI breaks out from here from around 48 and it reaches, let's say, 51, then the price is still going to be inside this. So at that point, you can go, enter earlier before the price breakout or wait for the price breakout. But remember that in this climate, if you enter after waiting for both, then it can roll over and put a low from where you enter. So it's pretty tough, and you need to be prepared to either DCA or stop loss it. There's no way you can play this market without risk management. Otherwise, you just slap yourself. If you're not taking any risk management with this market, it's absolutely useless to do this. It's a waste of time. What was the next one? I think it was Algo. Oh, by the way, let's do a target here. I couldn't do a target with the other one, but that doesn't mean I cannot do it in here. So if we were back into a bullish mode, we have a target of 76, and those are bullish market recovery kind of targets, $1. For this particular flag, we could do it from the previous highs of the previous market, but that's going to give you crazy values that I don't want you to be buying that at this point. Okay, next, GALA. Let me remove all drawings because I suspect this is all crap information. It's so difficult to do TA of this one because it's got such a huge all-time high relative to where we are that it shrinks all the chart. So we couldn't take the highs of March 2024, and we've been playing with this support of 16, and we are trapped around between 16 and 24 is kind of the accumulation area at the moment. So we are at the bottom of accumulation area. There's been a decent reset in here, 45% reset of longs. We are definitely closer to the other extreme, and this is starting to look a bit more bullish on the weekly. So there could be a breakout on the weekly in here before we even meet with the 24 resistance. There is a chance that we can place this like this. No, I don't like it. And on the daily, how does it look? Oh, wow. On the daily looks perfect. So it's a triangle with resistance in there. Let me remove this. And if we place it on the other side, there is still no breakout on GALA. So for GALA to break out here, it needs to go beyond a daily RSI of 42, and then you can get a breakout there. There was recently a fake out. That is the fake out at 47. It probably trapped loads of additional longs, and then it had a drawdown from that breakout of 35%. And that is just from last week. So you enter in that long, you're 35% from last week down, and you have to go to the very lows of 2024 and 2023 and 2022. So it's been the lows of all this period. Really, really ugly. So the good thing is that so far those lows are holding. So you could trade this as a swing trade or accumulation for any brighter future, but on spot, because it could break that support eventually if things get much uglier than where we are. Remember that NASDAQ went to the target of the double top, but that's just the shallow target. If it breaks that target, it goes beyond. We start entering into bear market territory both for S&P and NASDAQ if we go beyond my general market targets. And that is ugly. Of course, there's a lot going on. Dollar index is going down, which is great for risk on, but there's all this bull crap political back and forward thing that is definitely generating a climate of no one knows what the hell is going on, right? Dollar going down, tariff trades, they go to 25 to 50%, then back to 25, invalid, valid. We're gonna put tariffs on these metals. No, better to put in these other metals. And people are just going in circles, and that is the worst climate. As soon as there is some certainty in which direction we are going, then people can absorb all these things and prepare for that, and then we create some foundation pillars to start recovering from that and priced it in. At the moment, we are pricing in everything bad that can happen. And that's why the markets are like this. I hope there's some certainty at some point so we can get out of here. The good news is that if we discard those things, if we say, okay, rate cuts, no tariffs and stuff like that, there can be a recovery, particularly if this money printing and M2 is already on that way, then the recovery can be extremely violent and leave everybody in the shadows after having sold very low prices. El CAS. Let's do CAS. So this is not Kaspa, right? Yeah, it's Kaspa. Yeah, I forgot the symbol. And let me remove all these drawings. Let's do all over again on the weekly. Yeah, I used to trade a lot Kaspa. It brings back memories of trading this. At some point, now that I remember, I started comparing in some videos. If you can find those videos, great for you. But I remember comparing this. This reminds me, one, the rolling over of BTC in 2021 first cycle. What Nvidia is doing now, right? So we just had a move like this, and I was looking for this. Nvidia already has it. Let's see if I can show you. So you see this rolling over, you see this high that is lower and this low that is lower too. Well, welcome to Kaspa vision of the future for Nvidia. So if Nvidia follows this, we are screwed. We need Nvidia now to start putting new highs. Literally, it needs to put a new higher high. Otherwise, it's just too big of a market cap to survive the rest of the market with Nvidia crashing like this. Okay, Kaspa is holding support at 53 or testing support. After that, we have 41 and we have 14 in the middle. No, I'm just going to leave it clean like that. And then on the weekly, there was a fake out. Gosh, those are really painful. That went back to all-time high, 19 cents. And that was the third rejection. So this has a similar shape as the triple top of Ethereum. It might be the case that it did it at the same time. So maybe Kaspa is very coupled with Ethereum extremely, and then it's just mimicking Ethereum. And then if Ethereum recovers, possibly Kaspa will too. That needs to hold 54. And I think Ethereum now is at 18, if I remember right. 19. Well, it was at 18 yesterday. So the 18 is equivalent to 53 on Kaspa. And now what we need to do, unfortunately, is break that high. So let's see what is a rally into resistance. We are at lower levels of RSI. We have the lowest RSI ever on Kaspa at 33. We are at 37 now. And if we go to 52, what is that looking like in the chart? 52, I'm getting confused with the 21 weekly, is 13 cents. So if Kaspa makes now a move there, you get an 85%, and I'm going to track that. And no stop loss shown. I reserve the right to use my own stop loss if I did that. 85% is just a rally into weekly resistance. So a rejection from resistance gives you 85%, which is crazy. In the middle, you have the 96 that I suspect is going to be really tough to beat. So just coming back in here and testing that level, which is the breakdown of this multiple head and multiple shoulders, that is 97. If we can break that, then we can achieve the full target of the resistance. But you get two areas to take profit there, assuming that you are a swing trader and you want to hold it, a few months of spot trading this, and then maybe accumulating in this area for different average position. So you enter one in here, one in the next level. You average that down, and then you carry on following up with where is this line, and you adjust your take profits and your targets. All right. What time is it? We're about to finish. And let's see. H bar, I did it yesterday. I haven't done beam. I'm gonna do beam. And by the way, someone is asking, what do you think of the XRP USOIL pair? It, I don't know what it means. I never seen this USOIL. Nicolas, if you tell me what is that and why is worth looking at, I can have a look. I'm also curious. So Beam has had support here. It reached kind of a double top there, and it had resistance at those levels. Yeah, more or less. And it's got resistance there as well. Support, well, I cannot figure where is the support really, because that's the listing price. And global resistance is something like this. And we put a lower low on the RSI. So this means that we have like a channel like this. Let's place it like that. There is no data about the longs and shorts. Let me see the daily, because when I see a line like this that is curving, then I go to the daily and I try to see if there is a daily breakout. Yeah, there was, but it went really ugly for the coin, unfortunately. In this area here, there's a weaker setup that is right below the resistance on the daily. So there could be here a breakout if beam on the daily breaks above RSI 33. So it needs to close at 34, 35 for beam. And targets of that, I don't know. Could be the next resistance of 12. And that will be a move of 100%. That is crazy. Very high risk. I mean, I really don't like the way this is dumping. There is almost no structure. It's just literally purely dumping, and it breaks through the levels. Well, it tested that level of 12. It respected it one day, and then it broke it down. Then it came back to test it. So we already test 12, and we're on our way down. So we are playing with the idea of possibly breaking out in here and going back to test it again. I'm not sure. I wouldn't say it's in a great situation at the moment, but yeah, maybe if you wait long enough, you could go back to 12, but it might take a long time. It might continue. There is no support in the chart, so I literally don't know where's the floor of this, right? It looks very bearish. Say TIA near, yeah, near. I did it yesterday, and I'm just gonna do two more. So I'm gonna go with Say and TIA. And that's it for today, guys. Say had a breakout and now is having a double bottom on the momentum with a lower price. The price lost that support in here. Next support is 15, and we had a weekly close below support. We held support in August. Now we are in a worse situation, But let's see how's the RSI in here. So we have an RSI of 32 and now we are at 37. So that is a bullish weekly divergence relative to July 2024. That looks good with the breakout and the double bottom. So this looks better. And I was calling for a rally into resistance. I can see before. Now we need to move this way. I'm going to ignore this. And we are at 37 and we could impact this line at 54. 54 is around 45 cents. So just a rally into resistance without necessarily breaking out with this move all down, thanks to that potential bullish divergence, which can get completely destroyed if we close this week like this. If this week we get an RSI of, let's say, anything below 32, like 30, then forget about the bullish divergence. It's gone. So we need to really see this week. The best setup will be that the RSI ends like with this shape, right? So if we close this week at 40 or somewhere there, 39 if you want, then you're going to have a lot more confidence that we are in the process of producing a bottom information higher than 30. And then you get a bit more confidence. If you're a degen, enter wherever you want and then don't complain. Um, okay, that's say, and I was going to do TIA, and that was going to be it. Guys, let me know in the comments, do you like TA live or do you prefer to watch more the videos? Now I'm confused. It feels like some people like it live and they prefer all this chit chat and white spaces. Okay, we had a breakdown in here. We already tested that. So this looks like BNB, but we have very little number of longs relative to the whole history of TIA. So they have thrown the towel, and there can be a possibility that we get a comeback with this pattern. That pattern like this, if we complete it at 45. So that's kind of the recipe to potentially reclaim the lost support and start going higher. Let's look at support and resistance. So we lost the 4-1 and now we are holding on to 2-9 and we are halfway there. And what else? I think this, no, it's very messy, this area. I cannot put a level that we have respected a lot because in this area, it just doesn't do anything related to that line. So maybe if I put it higher, then this one messes up everything. I'm just gonna leave it like that. I think we need to cross the $4, the psychological level. That is a 17% up. We need to do that first. Reclaim this and confirm the double bottom formation together with the RSI, right? Then you get the price and RSI double bottom formation, reclaim of $4, and then we can talk about 8.4. That's more than 100%. So from where we are, assuming that you are already in a position or that you're planning to still enter before breaking the resistance, that's a 147% to get into this level. That was already rejected. If market recover, so let's say, liquidity comes back and everything looks a lot better than it is so far, getting to $4 builds a larger double bottom formation. So it builds then this one. And if we get that one and we look at the RSIs, do we have a bullish divergence? No, unfortunately not. This went lower. This went to 38. This went to 40. Yeah, I wanted to say that that will be a bullish divergence, but it's not. So it will form just a double bottom with a neck at A4. that seems like very distant from where we are in this climate, but that is the recipe to get back to 14.5. So one step at the time. First, the small double bottom formation with the breakout possibly on the daily. Look at the daily time frame. Look at the trend lines on the RSI on daily. That can possibly give us A4 with some recovery in all this mess we are in the macroeconomy. If things recover strongly, then you get the 14 and possibly even all-time highs. But that recipe in here is the second step. You need a third later, and we can review that later. What do you think about M2 versus BTC price? I was going to finish now, but let's look at M2. So yes, there is some delay in the effect of M2 expected most of the time on Bitcoin. So M2 is printing. We have a higher high, an all-time high of M2 in here. And those bottom formations in the past, most of the time play out. This one did as well. Some people debate whether the effect of liquidity coming in happens 1, 2, or 3 months after. So let's say we bottom in the liquidity in Jan, and it has been going up for 56 days. And Bitcoin pretty much from, 13th of January. Okay. So Bitcoin at that point was already topping because liquidity was coming down. It peaked at September, and we have rally until, let's say, this mid-December. So from here to mid-December is 90 days. So it peaked there. Bitcoin peaked 90 days after. This one bottom, well, depends where you want to call it the recovery. I'm going to call it from 13th of January, we started the recovery because this was just a move up and then back down. So we start there. If we count 90 days, it points at beginning second week of April. So for my birthday, in theory, we should get an all-time high of Bitcoin if that follows that trend. That's kind of the perception of people across social networks. But it's just past performance. Remember, it doesn't need to play out. It should, but there's always something new to consider. Guys, thanks so much for watching the live stream. It was lovely. Let's see. I'll see you in the next video. Remember to hit the like, subscribe, write down comments, and all of that. And I'll see you later. Take care. Bye-bye. My birthday, 10th of April. It's on my Twitter. It's public, I think.